All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Loyalist. And, hey, I know you guys are here because I posted it, the whole, is this going to be a breakout season, right? It's a legit question because we got two sophomore defensive linemen, which is kind of what we have a lot of years. I mean, it's like every year we have sophomore and rookie defensive linemen. This year, no different. But we got a couple guys who were picked very early, a first rounder and a second rounder. One of the second rounders, many people would have probably taken as a first rounder last year had he not been dealing with that Achilles. So the question is this going to be a breakout season for one or both of those guys, right? Kwity Paye, Dayo Odeyingbo. Wow, would that not be a phenomenal thing to happen for the Indianapolis Colts? Because we don't have breakout seasons for defensive linemen, and we need that so bad. In addition, with the Kwity Paye addition right there, that would be absolutely phenomenal. We're going to break that down, tell you what we think, what we see, and obviously we're going to get into the live chat so that you guys can let us know as well. Real quick, Truitt, Tressler, John Gilbert, Deep Patel, Zach Erlinson, glad you guys are all here. Appreciate each and every one of you. Before we get started, please smash that like button. It helps with analytics a ton. The more likes this video has, the quicker that YouTube will push this out to other people to maybe look at. But how's your day going there, Loyalist?
Oh, pretty good. Like I was telling you before we got recording, I seen that title that you wanted to talk about, and I was like, oh, I just started dreaming about what it'd be like for these guys to really step up and stuff. And I'll tell you what, guys, this defense is going to be electric already. And if one or both of these guys could step up and have the season that I think they can, watch out. This defense is going to be special.
Oh, yeah, I would think so, too. But it's going to be a little bit different for Kwity because I'm pretty sure that Kwity is going to flip sides, which is, in my opinion, where he should have been last year, just because of his build and stature and abilities. I think he is a better at being at that other side, the strong side, rather than the weak side pass rush edge, where obviously Yannick will be this season. And then, of course, Dayo, he came back from that Achilles, still wasn't 100%, still didn't feel like himself. He says now he feels like he did before it happened. Feels more natural. Probably got over that whole worried about re-injuring it, because when you have a serious injury that requires serious surgeries, I don't care who you are, it's human to worry, and that will physically, without you even thinking about it, you will not be playing to your utmost potential because deep down you're like, oh no, I don't want to get hurt again, So, who do you want to start off with first?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'd like to start off with Daio because I feel like he's got more of a muddier path. Not saying that he couldn't explode, but you look at the guys in front of him. You look at DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, and the interior, which I think that Daio will play a large part in, as far as being that relief. But, we don't like taking Defoe off the field that much. You know what I mean? But like I said, so for me, that's where I'd like to start because, like I said, this young man's got a lot of very talented people in front of him. And the thing is I understand that he could sort of drift to the outside if need be, but I would argue that his biggest asset would be there on the interior.
Oh, well, yeah. And I mean, he's built very similar to Defoe. And all of you who watched me for a long time know, I make no secrets about it. Defoe's my favorite guy on the Colts, right? My wife is up here. Hi, honey. You're fine. There you go. Is that what you was looking for? Oh, you was looking for those. All right. but okay, I'm back. No, Defoe is he's got a thing because, like I was saying, with Daio being similar size to him, I think that DeForest Buckner could really help Daio out, being a mentor to him, if Defoe would just take it upon himself. You know what I mean? To go out and go, hey, this and this and this and this works for me because of my size, my arm length, my, just what I have. Since he's so similar, I would love to see that. Now, obviously, you don't judge a person by whether or not they, step out and do something of that nature. But when that does happen, it gains a lot more respect among fans and especially among, your teammates. I would think that DeForest Buckner would not be afraid of losing his position. I'm pretty sure that his starting position at 3-tech for the Colts is secure. So I wouldn't be too worried about teaching him that if I was him. But I understand this is a business and it's a job that he's fighting for every offseason. But it would still be nice to see him do something like that. Wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is everything you've heard about DeForest Buckner, whether it was in San Francisco or here in Indy, he's always been that leader by example that, hey, come here, young buck, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you did wrong. And let's sit there and talk about how we can make things better and stuff. So I honestly believe that Defoe, he might even look at it as being like, okay, with this Nate Ollie system and us being more, pin our ears back, full throttle. He may appreciate having that backup support that maybe he won't get as many snaps, but yet he'll still be fresher and more productive in the snaps that he has.
Absolutely. And with Daio, what really popped on film from his college days is what we didn't necessarily see those last couple of weeks when he came in to play. And that is, people want the hurricane, because he was crazy. It was almost techniqueless. It was almost reckless abandon on how, he would attempt to get through the line to disrupt stuff in the backfield. Right. Mm-hmm. There was no, tape worthy teaching stuff that you looked at. You just go, this dude just went in there and did everything he could to get through there. So you get this guy technique down to use with that body, and oh my goodness, he could really make a name for himself in this league.
Absolutely. And like you said, let's not forget Hurricane Daio was more of a tropical storm last year with that Achilles, because like you said, he was, first off, he's acclimating to being a professional athlete. He's acclimating to, moving. I know he moved around, but in Wake, he was outer on the edges a little bit more than what we've seen from the Colts and stuff. But then you sit there and you also, you just, like you said, you look at this young man's motor and then his physical traits and stuff. And yeah, if you could just harness that and focus it, like you do with like a magnifying glass, you let Defoe help him be his magnifying glass to focus on certain areas of his game to really excel at. Oh man, I'm so pumped because like I said, I really believe that this young man, even though he didn't get as many reps as Kwity did and stuff, I feel like it was beneficial because he was able to learn the playbook. He was able to watch the guys from a distance. We even watched him at training camp once he was done doing all the rehab and stuff. He was still walking out on the field and watching and taking in as much of that as he could. So, like you said, this young man with that high motor and just the speed and physicality that he uses, yeah, you get that focused a little bit. I think quarterbacks are not going to like seeing him standing right in front of their face over and over.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, you can really move him around that line if you're in what Eberflus used to call a NASCAR package, right? Where you have, your fastest pass rushers on the field on 3rd and long or 2nd and 20 something or something like that, and you got to have those high end pass rushers, you could put him on the edge or at, you know, the one tech, right? You could put him on the one tech and not really worry about losing the run stopping ability, because his size really helps against that as well because of his reach. And then, of course, you know, being able to fill in for Buckner just because they're very similar, you know, in physical stature. It could be a very interesting season for Daio. I'm looking, obviously, once we get through OTAs and we get into training camp and we get down there and we look, we're going to be watching both Daio and Kwity very, very closely. I know you watched Kwity very closely last year, along with Danny Pinter, until he hurt his foot. But those are guys that we're going to be watching very closely again this year, because even though Daio is not technically going to be on the starting lineup, he's going to provide, as you say, that he's going to get lots of snaps with rotation, lots of snaps.
I got a real quick question for you, okay? Because, you know, I sat there and I listened to Kwity talk a couple weeks ago, and Coach Ollie talking about how the ends are going to be a lot of more of that 9 tech, really spread out. Do you think that extra space on the interior is a benefit to, you know, to the interior guys, whether it's DeForest or Daio or Grover? Does that extra space on the interior to work, is that beneficial, or is that more of a hindrance to trying to stop that run like you were talking about?
Well, honestly, it depends. Okay. It depends upon how good those edges on the 7 to 9 tech is doing against your offensive tackles, right? If you're getting beat all the time, if your edge, let's say Yannick is beating that left tackle a lot on an outside speed burst, all right, that means you're going to have that left tackle push and run out a lot more, which means that the left guard is going to have to kick out to give some help, which will then open up more, you know, spots in that zone for them and their gaps, and allow the defensive tackle guys to get in as well. This whole defense really is going to depend on Yannick and Kwity Paye beating their one-on-ones on the outside edge. If they're able to do that, then the interior guys won't have to worry about seeing 3-on-2 every single snap, you know?
So now with this quote, breakout season, what would be a breakout season for you with Daio? I mean, is it snap count? Is it productivity as far as snaps and hurries? What is it that would, quote, be a breakout season in your eyes for Daio?
First off, Snacks is a nickname already given to somebody. He don't. But
sorry, Mr. Harrison.
But anyhow, I think obviously some snap count would help, but obviously in order to get the snap count, productivity has to be there, right? You're not going to give snaps to somebody who just isn't producing. So I want to see a guy not necessarily getting sacks all the time, not necessarily getting a lot of TFLs all the time. Somebody, however, that is beating their man one-on-one a lot, getting in the backfield and creating disruption. All right. That I think will allow him to get more snaps. When I'm looking at breakout season, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to come out week 1 and have 2 sacks and 3 tackles for losses and a forced fumble and screw it, let's throw a pick 6 in there too.
Let's go. We win week 1. All right. Good.
I'm not saying that necessarily, but what I am saying is that he's going to get more comfortable with himself after week 1, week 2. I'm expecting Daio to be more productive week 4, week 5, once he starts getting, used to himself, realizing, hey, He's finally playing against the big boys, different types of big boys in front of him, because it's one thing to be practicing against your own guys. It's different against playing someone across from you from another team, right? You're not yes, you're not necessarily pulling all the stops in practice, okay? Because you don't want to hurt the guy across from you. All right. Now, you obviously don't want to hurt the guy across from you during a game either. That's not your goal. Your goal is to beat them, but you're actually putting a lot more effort into it than what you are in practice. I don't care what Darius says, oh, we got to, practice as hard as we play. You don't, because your juice level is not the same during practice. It just isn't. Okay. No matter how much you want it to be, it's just not going to be there, because you're not sitting in front of 80,000 fans, and all this stuff, and the announcers going off, and it's just a completely different atmosphere, and it changes how you play. But I'm looking at Daio, like I say, to maybe end up having a season where he's got 40 tackles, maybe double-digit tackle for losses. I'm looking at that. And I'm looking at probably about 50% of the snaps available. I'm not saying that him and DeForest is splitting 50-50. I'm saying that he will get some snaps at different positions here and there, which will give him 50% of the available snaps. If he gets anywhere between 40 and 50%, that's good for him, because he's a backup, right? And it's also meaning that you're getting a lot of good rotation in there. And with a 40 to 50% snap count, I would say that if Daio could get double-digit tackle for losses, anywhere between 10 and 20, and if he could get anywhere between 4 and 8 sacks is good for an interior defensive lineman, especially a guy who's not a starter. And I would love to see that. If he walked away with 6 sacks, that would be an absolute phenomenal breakout season for a backup interior defensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, heck, if he gets 8, he's getting real close to that Defo production, from that spot. And
that's when Defoe's going to be like, I ain't teaching you no more, dude. So what are you thinking?
Well, like I said, for me, it was a lot more about just opportunities, getting on the field, because I'm not sure, because anything we saw from Daio on the field, it was sort of, from the hip, trying to piece together what little time that they had left to build that chemistry and that schematic fit. But the thing is like you said, now you got Coach Harrison and Coach Bradley bringing in this new system, and it's the amount of opportunities is what I really, really wanted to see from Daio. Just get on the field, get that comfortable feel from the 1 tech, the 3 tech, out on the edges, wherever the Colts see fit. And just honestly, this year would be more of a figuring out what it is the Colts are envisioning, what Coach Bradley and Ollie are envisioning with this D-line, because like I said, I've been clamoring about this D-line now going on 3 years, thinking, is this the year the D-line, and I mean, you look at the veteran pieces, like I said, I think Yannick is going to have a big effect on the entire D-line, because you sit there and you put Yannick alongside with Defo. Now all of a sudden you can't really, you're doing a lot of double teaming. You're doing a lot of bringing the tight ends in and chipping and a lot of that type of stuff. And whenever that happens, and and people might sleep on the younger side of the field, like you said, if it's Daio and Kwity, because then they're going to be all focused on stopping the one side, and all of a sudden they're just getting taken advantage of, from the young, like you said, the young sophomores. I'm definitely on board for that.
Well, also you got to remember, you bring up, the 1 tech. Think about this. All right, Grover Stewart, I think he's coming into the final year of his extension, isn't he? Or is that this?
I think he's got.
Hold on, let me look.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, like I said, I'll tell you that I am so pumped, because the scheme, and then just the this is his final year?
No, he's got two. He's got this year and next year.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I for me, it's not as much about numbers as far as sacks and stuff, which I think will come just with the mentality of the young man and his game style. But I also think if you just give him more opportunities, let him grow, because like we've said, year 2, year 3, that's when you see your biggest growth from these guys. And I don't even know, is this year 2 for Daio? Did he get everything that a normal rookie would have gotten because of the path that he had to take? Or is he still playing a little catch up? That's something else I'm sort of intrigued to see.
That is true. Now with Kwity Paye, as we're 21 minutes in, it's might as well go ahead and talk about the other guy now. Kwity Paye, guy who had 6 sacks, as a rookie, and he was on the weak side, right? He was the pass rush side, but he is very good against the run, and for him. And he was also in a scheme with Matt Eberflus where he wasn't taught to just go all out after the quarterback. He was more taught contain and then collapse rather than just go all out. So with Kwity this year, and also last year during his whole entire off season, and Chuck and I will attest to this. Every day he was practicing the exact same move the entire day, rep after rep after rep, learning new pass rush moves. Okay. Whether it be speed, bend, whether it was a bull rush, whether it was, trying to work on a spin move, whether it was a power bar, whatever, he was working that exact same. So this offseason, I think he'll probably be trying to refine a lot of that stuff rather than just learning it, figuring out what he likes the most and refining that. And that's going to help him a ton, but he's switching opposite ends. All right. So that is going to put him back just a little bit because he's not a guy who's on the strong side. His college career and his first year in the NFL. He was always the weak side pass rusher during the Colts season. Now, he went over to the strong side occasionally, but for the most part, he was weak side. And same in Michigan, he was weak side. And whereas Hutchinson was over there on strong side. So I actually said that right. I'm so proud of myself. But again, he's another guy who I feel isn't going to really light it up week 1, because he's learning that opposite side, Now, is it going to be lesser competition over there? Sure. Generally your right tackle is not quite as good as your left tackle, right? Generally, unless you're the Indianapolis Colts last year. But still,
I know we got to keep it real.
yeah. But once he gets fit in and that strong side becomes natural to him through repetition, I got a feeling he will start to become a very difficult piece to stop. Okay. I really do believe that. He's got a lot of, for as big as he is, he has a very low center of gravity and very, very powerful. Okay. And if this is a situation where Gus Bradley's like, just go get him, just go get the guy. Don't worry about containment. Go get him. I think Kwity could come away with some more sacks than what we saw last year. And I'm thinking his breakout could be anywhere between I could see anywhere between 20 and 30 quarterback hits. Okay, and closing in on double-digit sacks. I'm saying anywhere between 8 and 12 is where I'm looking at for Kwity Paye next year. But I don't see him really blowing up the first couple weeks because he's learning that new position.
Yeah, and see, there's a lot of things about Kwity that I like. First off, his comfort with Yannick Ngakoue, and he's even said how he's sort of try to emulate the chop and stuff that Unique has done in the league and stuff. Then you sit there and you factor in the fact that now they are going to be lining out wider sometimes. And like you said, he's going to be able to just have that. I mean, that quick start that he has, he's going to be able to really put these tackles at a very extreme disadvantage. And let's not forget, I mean, all this time that these young men have had now with the great, quarterback hater himself, Robert Mathis, and all that time that they've had, in the offseason and mostly ramped up over the last month or so. But just getting in there and hearing the words of wisdom that Robert Mathis provides, and not to mention, Robert Mathis can he understands what the Colts want better than anybody else, I would imagine. You know what I mean? Because like you said, he's played so many different styles, but he's always been a high producer. And that whole pin the ears back. I mean, everything I think of when I think of the pin the ears back is the Freeney Mathis, just, whether Mathis is or Freeney is doing his spin move and Mathis is just beating him with speed or whatever. Like I said, there's a lot of nuggets and a lot of experience to be learned from that man. And to sit there and think that now that they're going to have this extra time, and then the acclimation with the OTAs and just the full off season and stuff. So many things going in this second year for these guys that they didn't even have last year, that I just think is going to offer them multiple opportunities. Like you said, we watched Kwity, and it was constantly one move. This year, is he going to have a counter move to that move? You know what I mean? Is he going to be able to develop some of these second and third and do the strategy part of that position? Because
setting up your offensive lineman for a spin move or something of that nature. Yeah.
Get that right tackle cheating over to the right outside a little bit, and all of a sudden, boom, he just hits that inside gap. Oh, good. Shorter distance to the quarterback. I love it.
All right, guys. We are getting ready to get into the live chat. I appreciate all of you hanging with us for the last 28 minutes. Please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. I'm uploading videos or going live every single day now. Okay. Things are going on in my life. I need to provide content for you guys. As long as you can continue to consume the content, I will continue to provide it. All right. Chuck and I have been really on our butts trying to get as much content out to you guys as possible. Don't forget, there's also Newsbreak where we are on, and we have Newsbreak specific stuff, which you will not find on YouTube, such as I just posted one earlier today about the Indianapolis hosting the NFL Combine for the next 2 years, which is freaking awesome. Go check out Newsbreak. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Don't forget, if you want to go ahead, if you are able and want to help this channel out, help us out a little bit, there is a donation link right here at the top of the description of the video. Use it much like a super chat for YouTube. We appreciate each and every donation, and we will definitely get straight into any question or comment that comes into that during this time. And also don't forget, our Patreon. Lots of great stuff that happened on Patreon. That link is in the description as well. Thursday night Patreon streams start at 8 p.m. Eastern, last sometimes until 1 o'clock in the morning. Also, Patreon members get all of my Believe stuff uncut, unfiltered, right? There's a lot of extra content in that kind of stuff as well. Plus, excuse me, when I join other people's shows, like whenever I got on Zach Schomler's Strong Opinion Sports, stuff like that, that goes on Patreon as well. It's only $5 a month, man. And obviously it's for a great cause. It helps me out so that I can get content out to you. Let's get into the chat, Loyalist. John says, I'm wondering what the edge rotation is going to be like. And I saw another one where he was talking about who was it? Was it Wyatt or Nomadic that said that, or later on? It was Wyatt. I will bring it up later, but Wyatt and him talking about edge rotation, Kwity Paye, Taekwon Lewis. Lewis is another guy. Looked pretty good last year, right up until he looked great until he had an interception return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even the interception return looked beautiful right up until he went down. And you were like, no, not another Ohio State guy. But hey, he's not in his second year. I'm hoping and praying that Taekwon Lewis will make a great comeback. I believe that Taekwon could be a great rotational piece with Kwity Paye. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the edge rush rotation that we have?
I'm a little concerned. Okay, I like Taekwon Lewis, and then I sit there and I'm like, oh my goodness, is Ben Banigou really like? And I mean, hey, he's going to look great. We all know he's going to look great in training camp. Okay. He's going to go out there and he's just going to be lights out. And is this, I mean, honestly, I sort of thought maybe something would happen during the draft and it didn't. Maybe I was hoping more than thought it would happen, but then is this, one of those where Gus Bradley just sees this young man. It's like, I've got to be able to do something with him. You know what I mean? And maybe this is the fit. Maybe Flus was too easy on him, or maybe it was too I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, I would like to see somebody else step up in that end, whether it's, Ben Banigou or some of these other young men. I am a little concerned about the depth. I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to run Yannick into the ground, so by the end of the season, he's got that tongue hanging out and, not producing like he did at the beginning of the season. I hope not. So I look at what Ballard has done, though, and I'm telling you right now, there's you look at some of the additions and stuff, and I'm not sure that Ballard has even done yet, whether it's another DN or another wide receiver or something. So let's just wait and see what happens there.
Absolutely. Now, we do have a guy we didn't get to see a whole lot from last year out of South Dakota, Cameron Klein.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another guy that we could kind of keep an eye on. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to rest all of my eggs, backup eggs in Ben. I'm with you on there. Yeah, he'll eat up the third and fourth stringers during training camp. Sure. But Daio is listed as a defensive end. So that's not, that's something that is a good situation where, he's could be rotational for everybody. He might get more than 50% snaps if he's just constantly just running across the whole line, just, relieving people. Yannick, go take a breather. Yo, go take a breather, Defo. Yo, Paye, go get yourself some Gatorade. You look like you need it. But yeah, I get what you're saying on the defensive end. It's not like what we used to have when we had, Al-Qadim Muhammad as a backup and some other guys like the Dragon Kimoko.
Yeah.
But
to your point, and I want to emphasize this. These guys are so interchangeable. Like you said, we saw it last year. Defo slides to the outside, and Daio comes in on the inside. I mean, there's things that they can do with this D line to help, prolong their productivity and stuff. And I honestly believe that Coach Bradley and Ollie are going to get this all sorted out. Honestly, I think a lot of it is going to be, let's see what we got in training camp. Let's see what these guys are looking like. What do they acclimate to the new scheme and stuff? And then maybe, look a little bit on the outside, because let's don't forget, guys, there's going to be a lot of talent that gets cut over here this year, I think, after they reduce from the top 90.
Zach Erlin says they both get at least 6 sacks this year, and then he says, I wish. When it comes to Daio, if he gets 6 sacks, like I said, that's good. That's good. I think Kwity needs more than 6. I think his bare minimum should be 8. When you are a pass edge rusher, right? You're that pass rusher out on the edge. And we talk about it all the time, back when Ballard first came in, he picked up this defensive end and everybody said, who's this Daio Odeyingbo dude? Mm-hmm. And, he only gave us like 25 or 26 sacks in 3 seasons. And then goes over to the Titans and does it again. We need at least that kind of production from Paye, in my opinion. We need at least Daio Odeyingbo type of production from Kwity Paye. Same side that they'd be fighting on, both over on the strong side. Let's see if Kwity could step up into that. What do you think?
Oh, that sounds fantastic, because like I said, this defensive line this year, I think we have better answers on the starting lineup, but I do think that as far as the depth, I mean, heck, what did we have, 11 last year at the beginning of the season? Did we have like 11 D line? I would argue that this year we probably have 8 to 9 of equal caliber. But like I said, when you look at Yannick, I feel like that's a massive upgrade, and then you sit there and like we've talked about Daio and Kwity with this extra season. I really do feel like the rotation may be smaller, but I think it's going to be more productive with the scheme change, as well as just interchanging these guys, knock on wood, as long as everybody stays healthy.
Well, we're going to have a lot of defensive tackles on our roster. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see more than, I think you'll probably see 10 or 11. Remember, I mean, we also picked up Curtis Brooks and Eric Johnson, right, in the draft. I expect them both to probably make that 53-man roster. And then you got DeForest, right, and Grover. So that's 4. Chris Williams is a solid guy, right? Mm-hmm. And then RJ McIntosh isn't too bad either. If you drop 1 or 2 of those guys, you still got, you're like, what?
I forgot about McIntosh. I did. Yeah. I told my bad.
All good, man. Just helping you out a little bit here. Hey, what's up, TJ Joe? Fixing Mexican street corn for $5 donation through the super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. I just made pork ribs. Actually, it wasn't beef; it was pork. Got some from a farmer earlier yesterday. I decided to go ahead and fix them today. First time I ever actually cooked ribs. But thank you so much for the TJ Joe. Appreciate that. Need to get back in here, scroll back up, because there was first off, Simon, he says, sorry, I didn't realize this was only about Kwity and Daio. Only the beginning part, which is why I'm now going to get into your question. What's up, guys? What's going on with you, Simon? How are you doing? What do you all think about the safety position? Will Cross start at some point this offseason and push Kari out of the starting lineup?
Yeah, I don't know that he'll start, but I do think that he's going to get reps. You know what I mean? Because you sit there, let's don't forget, we got Armani Watts and Rodney McLeod also. Okay. So I guess what I'm thinking is like, I think Cross is going to be able to push that this his rookie year. I mean, you guys heard, I'm sure that, first thing he asked for after he got drafted, he was like, when can I get the playbook? How can I get the playbook? You know what I mean? And I love hearing that. I've been digging into this young man. Hope to have that video together in the next couple days. But like I said, this young man is so dynamic of a player. I mean, honestly, I sit here and I imagine a secondary with Blackman and Cross. I just I cannot lie to you guys that secondary, that safety tandem there makes me salivate heavily. But I think that this is also going to be something that we'll start to see this year, a little bit of what can happen because of Blackman coming back from the Achilles, because of Cross, just getting acclimated to being a pro. But I'm telling you guys right now, 2023, oh man, that is going to be an awesome secondary to be watching, especially in the safety room.
Well, you was talking about the rotation. That's something that I think it'll be utilized a lot more at the safety position than what it was last year as well. Chris Ballard was talking about, Blackman, Julian. He was on a Pro Bowl tear, and then he ends up getting hurt in practice walkthroughs. What? I mean, come on now. That sucked, but he was on a Pro Bowl tear up till then. It's a situation where, man, we had so many foot and ankle injuries last year. It wasn't even funny. My goodness, everybody. I hope that's behind us, right? I hope now the worst problem that they have is their hair getting stuck in brushes or something, losing too much of that, or I don't know, at least that wouldn't affect their playing. Hangnails are nasty. That's the worst injury that the Colts will come down with, is those stupid hangnail, maybe an ingrown toenail. Those things hurt like heck too, though, but hopefully they won't be held out of a game to an ingrown toenail, but it is what it is.
I will let you know that, sitting there listening, Marvell Towell the third and a couple of these guys got their hair shortened up quite a bit, so it's going to be harder for them to get a hairbrush got into it this year.
Well, that is true. Yeah.
So now we're relying on the hangnail method.
What's up, Schmidt? Appreciate you being here. Will Daio have full strength now, bear fighting his way into lineman? Okay, so I'm not 100% sure how this is supposed to be read, but I'm just going to say yes. I think that he is going to be full strength now. He talked about how he was, fully healthy and ready to go. So it seems like to me that he'll be out there doing everything, bringing everything to full bear, if that's what you're talking about. I don't know. But I mean, he kind of as big as a bear, I guess, 6'7", 300 pound darn near, or what, hold on. What is his weight? Let me go back and look at this. Hold on. I got it brought up.
Think about 280. He's just going to have to hold him off with one arm while he's sacking the quarterback with the other one.
Yeah. Okay, so he's 276. It's got him listed at 276. He's my height. Dude is my size. I'm 6'6", about 280. So
strap him up, brother. Let's go.
Come on, Daio. Come on. No, he's way younger and a lot more physical shape than I am. Trust me. His 280 is a solid 280. Mine's a little cushy. All right.
I think you may need to look. I hear Defo saying something like, "You better watch it, Law."
Nah, man. I want nothing to do with this right here. All right. Nothing to do with this man. I'll shake his hand. That's about it. All right. Speaking of which, who was it that said that earlier? Yeah, I need to scroll up here. Poster. I saw him say that. There it is. Defo poster. Yeah, there it is. Apparently, someone bought 2 Colts things from the Backroom Collection. If you like stuff that you would like to put up, beautiful canvas pieces, even signed pieces, feel free, go to the Backroom Collection, and don't forget to use my promo code to get you a little bit of deal and help put money in our pockets as well. And as soon as I find that ad, I will post that sucker, but I'm having problems there. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. How's it going, Marquis Beverly? Appreciate you being in here. Thank you so much. Ben Banagou's Colts Twitter favorite defensive end, I swear. That ain't no lie. All right. Now, no offense. All right. Ben's a great guy. All right, but he's got to prove it on the field against starters, and he has yet to do that. So,
and the thing is he has all the tools. Maybe, like I said, I'm really hoping that the scheme change and maybe just the coaching change will be all that he needs to wake him up and at least give us something. You know what I mean? Like I said, fit into that rotation, even if you're the 8th or 9th piece in that rotation. You know, get in there and just give these guys a break and while you're at it, give them some headaches at the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Cyborg brings up pressures, total pressures from the entire D-line. That is a big thing. And what does help with those pressures is something that Deep Patel was talking about earlier about just bringing in Yannick helps free up every player on that line from Defoe being beside him, which then, obviously Kwity on the opposite end as well. You cannot underestimate how important bringing in Yannick Ngakoue to this defensive lineup is going to benefit this pass rush. JDW, what's up? Appreciate you being in here, man. Buck Dancer's in here, says hi. What's up? We got some more people I've never even seen before. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name, but what's going on? Yannick, Defoe, Daio, Kwity running NASCAR package will wreck quarterbacks this year. NASCAR wreck. Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. All right. What do you think? What do you think the potential sack total of Yannick, Defoe, Daio, and Kwity running together would be?
Okay. I know I may catch some flack because I don't normally do this. I'm not, but I'm saying 14. I think Yannick gets 14 this year. Okay. I know. I really do. I feel like Yannick is going to be, it's contract year. He's comfortable in this scheme. Like I said, from what I've heard from Bradley, he's really intrigued with this Coach Ollie and the juice that he brings and the mentality that they're trying to incorporate. And then you sit there and you factor in Defoe and Die. It's going to be really hard to sit there and say, we're going to try to take Yannick out and not sit there and experience a severe loss on the interior. Or like I said, if they sit there and try to take Defoe out, all of a sudden, I think Yannick's going to feast. I really believe that these guys are going to help each other out tremendously. And I do see that some of these offensive coordinators are going to forget about the other side of the field. And they're going to, so I'm guessing, 14, I give 9 for Defoe. That's 23. I'd like to see, like you said, another 8 or 9 from Kwity. So we're in 31, 32 range. And if I could get another 6 or 7, so we're right around the, high 30s, low 40s, just in the D line. That's not counting, whatever safeties or linebackers get.
So I said earlier about 2 months ago on Twitter, I posted that I thought that between Yannick, Defoe, and Kwity, those 3 guys would get 34 sacks this year. Between those 3 guys, I'm going to stick with that. Okay, I think they get 34 sacks, just those 3 guys alone. Again, if Daio gets 5, I'm happy for an interior defensive lineman or a guy who's just going to be a rotational piece. That's great. Granted, he's listed as a defensive end. We'll see how much he plays at defensive end, but still he's going to be the rotational guy. Yeah, so that's pushing right close to 40 sacks between those 4 guys. That's pretty nasty. That's pretty darn nasty. If that happens, we got a legit freaking pass rush deep front 4. I'll say that much. Jump into Zach Avery here, said that Blackman hit Derrick Henry as hard as anyone in the league. He met him at the point of attack coming downhill. He's legit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fully 100% agree with that if he could only just stay healthy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys right now, I think that we're going to find that Nick Cross is going to provide a lot of that. I mean, when he makes contact, he stops players. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of missed tackles. He's fast as grease lightning. And the thing is this kid's, just from what I've gathered, just through his studies and understanding what their playbook is, but also understanding film and stuff, this young man really is like and I know, but I mean, you remember how they used to talk about Peyton Manning, how well prepared he was, how, Peyton Manning had won most of the games before they even stepped on the field. I feel like that's what you get from Nick Cross. I mean, he's got a lot of physical attributes that help him be special, but I think his biggest is just his willing to be prepared and to sit there and put it all together. I mean, guys, I was looking at some of these highlight reels and stuff, which I understand they're highlights, but I mean, there was literally, would see where Cross was a step and a half towards where the play, because he'd already read the play and was already starting that direction. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, you put him and his natural instincts alongside of Blackman, man, I mean, we've talked about it. If we're running 3 safeties, you throw Kari Willis in there. All of a sudden, now you've got 2 really good run stoppers. One that's decent at it, but then you sit there and you got 2 really good coverage players. And like I said, I love the way that this the secondary and just the DB room in general. I love the way how you can mix and match and really make a very cohesive, as long as they can figure out the communication. That's where I think that the McLeods and stuff are going to really help out.
True, it says you drinking something besides Kool-Aid, dude. You are the ultimate optimist, and that's cool. That's why I have him here. He is a very high impact optimist guy, and I can be optimist. I can look through the blue and white glasses too, right? I can. All right. But I mean, I legitimately said, between those 4 guys that was on there, 40 sacks, right? That's a lot of people would say that's being, a little bit looking through some glasses, right? But it is what it is. Tony Robertson, what's up? Says Tyquan Lewis and Kwity is gonna be the biggest D-line breakouts. Watch. Okay. That's I thought Tyquan broke out. Started to the year before last, near the end of the season. I thought he was doing well. And then last year, at the beginning of the year, he again was doing really good. Then he had his injury. If he could stay healthy, I think Tyquan could absolutely have a studly season. Kwitty's going to have to learn that strong side first. He's going to be dealing with a lot more tight end chips than what he was last year's rookie season, because that's what strong side means. It means that's where tight ends generally line up on that side. So we'll see. But Kwity, like I said, he's got a lot of power behind that body of his, so he could do it. If anyone can, I think he could. Guys, I think it's getting close to the end of that time. We're at 54 minutes. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. We will definitely continue doing that. And then, of course, Thursdays, Patreon. So make sure you go check that stuff out as well. Any final words or any other questions you want to bring up that you see in the chat here?
Oh, I keep clicking the wrong one. Sorry, guys.
He just wants everyone to know that, yes, he is an ultimate optimist.
There you go. Say it again. There it is.
Say it loud. Say it proud.
But this is, honestly, I feel like this is going to be the strongest asset that this D-line has. Is you can't stop them all. You can't sit there and game plan to one side of the field or the other and sit there and think, oh, okay, the other side's going to be, because the speed. Kwity off the ball. I mean, there's not too many that's as quick off the ball as he is. And then, like we've said, with Daio and with Kwity, the pursuit. I mean, these guys are going to be coming back. I mean, I envision the old cartoon character where the dog's got the teeth all, just sort of, chasing. Quarterbacks are going to have to be running for their lives a lot more than what the Colts Nation has seen over the last several years. So I'm here for it, guys.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Colts Law with myself and Loyalist. We appreciate each and every one of you being here. We do this for you guys, a lot of stuff in the works in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out. Obviously, OTA start tomorrow. Can't wait to hear some stuff coming out of there. Hopefully no injuries, right? No injuries. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
So let me tell you, I never did answer the question fully. What are they going to get, right? How many sacks? I got Yannick sitting at around 12. Okay, that's still more than he's done his entire career. I think Defoe probably pushes his 9 to 10, which is about, just a sack more than his average. I think the big thing is that I think that we're going to get more out of our backups because they're going to be utilized more. And I think that's going to help out a ton. Still think that Yannick is going to get the most sacks on this defense. It's his second year with Gus Bradley's defense. So, yeah. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.